Alright, just picked up this was a 1998 Nissan Wingroad Y10 chassis, 1.5 litre, I think it's a G something, GA engine is it? Not the SR20 for the next ones. And we've just driven it back through some of these windy coast roads and it's been going alright. It's got a bit of a sound coming from the power steering pump because it's dry, so I'm going to stop in the next town and fix that, top that up. But so far it's going quite well. It's a nice little car. Just paid about $1,000 for it. You don't get much for $1,000 nowadays. So it's what, 5-speed manual, 1.5 litre. I don't know how much horsepower it would have, but must be 100 and something from new. I reckon it will do 170 kilometers an hour, but it's a bit fast for me. I normally just tick along at like 80 because I'm used to shitty old cars that can't go past that. Or you're too busy watching the gauges waiting for it to explode. But this one's been alright. Up and down some twisty hills, so they're giving it a bit of hell to see if anything's going to fly to bits on the way home. And the temperature's nice and stable. I think the radio even works. So yeah, it's got a couple of little dents and things on it, and the paint's pretty stuffed. Obviously next to the ocean here, so there's a little bit of rust just starting to come through. But I should be able to sort that out pretty quick. I'm not sure if I'm going to paint this or not, but I'll touch those areas up and stop it from getting worse. Yeah, I mean the inside is disgusting, which is probably why I'd only sold for $1,000. It's dirty as in here. Someone's been using it for, looks like there's grass clippings in the boot, and then there's dog hair everywhere and dirt and all sorts. I see there's some spare change sitting around, so I might get a little bit of cash back. So that'll be the first thing I do once I get home, is clean this out. Other than the steering pump, I haven't noticed anything. Every now and then there's a little knock, but I think it's just stuff in the back. Oh, and it goes around these little corners all right. It brakes pretty good. So far I'm happy. If it breaks down, I'll call AA and get a tow home, and it can go to the wreckers. Otherwise, I think my wife wants it now. She's seen it and said we can go on little drives on that, go camping or something. She wants to learn to drive a manual, so this would be a good one because the paint's already stuffed. And it's not too big, it's not like a big modern car. If you can even get those in manual, I don't know, nowadays. Of course, I had to buy a manual when I learnt to drive. I wasn't allowed to buy an automatic, because over here if you get your license on an automatic, it says you're not allowed to drive a manual until you've got a full license, although that's like 15 years ago. So there's been some changes to the law since then, but I'm pretty sure the automatic part is still in there. But I mean, if you're learning to drive in the city, it's probably, you don't need any more distractions. It's bad enough there, let alone trying to figure out how to work a clutch in a traffic jam or something like that. Anyway, this is the Coromandel Coast Road, State Highway 25. Sort of missed recording most of the more interesting parts, but this is a nice little drive here. It's nice now because there's no tourists. It's school holidays right now, so there's a little bit of traffic. Normally it's absolutely packed and it sucks. Like you come around the corner and there's, you know, caravans. It's tiny, narrow little road. The only place there's a cliff on one side and then a drop into the ocean. The only place you can go is, you know, to your side if they don't give way. I've had that. Up further where it turns to a dirt road, some guys, some like foreign tourists in a rented van who were coming down the hill and I was going up, and I had to drop onto the ocean and they didn't give me any room. So when I came past, I just scraped up against their tyres. You know, they should have probably moved over a bit, but no damage. So this part of the road is actually quite wide and straight. And it's all like open road speed, so you just go as fast as you want pretty much. But I have seen some cars in the ocean this must be what, Kopu or Tapu, one of them. Tapu. Little towns along the way. I don't know if they're mostly holiday homes. Everyone from Auckland seems to come down here on the weekends. I don't know how the microphone on this GoPro is picking it up, or if you can even see out the windscreen. I might be too tall. But there's no noises. I can just hear the bit of a whine coming from that steering pump, but it's right, barely got any fluid in it. So 20 k's to Thames, might fill it up there. Hopefully it doesn't blow itself to bits. That would be a shame. I don't particularly want to find one and replace it. I'd like to spend no money on this car. But if I paint it, yeah, if I'm going to paint this car, I've already got everything except the base coat. Well, I have base coat, but I don't have a base coat that I want to use on this car. I want to save that base coat for something nice. So I might buy some cheap silver base coat. I don't know, I saw some green paint look pretty good going cheap the other day. Looks alright in silver though. Couple of little dents around the body. I think nothing too major. Just the two front doors have a little bit of rust coming through in the bottom corner, which is not a problem for me. Probably doesn't even need welding up. And then around the boot, I think there's going to be some bad stuff in the boot under the carpet there. The carpet's wet at the moment. It's probably been wet for a while. But I see under the boot lid seal, it's got a bit of, it's going rusty, but it hasn't turned to frilly rust or anything yet, so there might just be a little hole or something at the worst. At the best, I'll just clean it up and put some urethane or something on it. Yeah, normally every time I come up here there's normally heaps of traffic. Like the worst time of year is probably Easter coming up here. It's just bumper to bumper for, you know, all the way to the end of the peninsula. Last time I was up here, we came a couple of days before Easter, and then left on Easter just as everyone was coming up. So it was pretty good for us going the other way. Lucky we could have those the days off before. So my wife and I went camping up there before we got the dog. Following me there in the little Ractus, which is, what's that one's a 2008 or something, 10 years newer than this, but this is honestly a nicer ride. That thing is wallows around, it's top heavy, it's got no power, you sit right at the front of it, it feels horrible. This feels just like a car. And it handles surprisingly well, although, as I say, everything I drive is usually a piece of crap. My Ute handles like crap. It's got too much power for the little wheels, even though it's not hugely powerful, but there's no weight on the back or anything. This has got new shocks in the back, so I don't know what that knocking was. Maybe they're not done up. Doesn't do with it might have just been the door or something. I just put $20 worth of fuel in it. It went from like quarter to just under half. I think these are quite economical. Fuck, that's a big boat. That'll use the diesel, won't it? Jeez. Yeah, so on paper this does something like 7 litres per 100 kilometres, which is pretty decent. But that was when it was new. It's only got little wheels on it, 14-inch or something. Because these are sold as like a working man's van or something in Japan, and they came out four-wheel drive. I don't think this is four-wheel drive, I doubt it, but I haven't looked. Like, I literally just bought it, the guy drove it to where I was waiting, so that was for $1,000. I said, yeah, that's more than good enough. You've been able to drive it to me and it hasn't broken down, so I'm already winning. And he even said it's still got a roadside assistance and he'll leave it on until I get home. So that's pretty good of him. It didn't really give me too much confidence, but I have AA myself and I get free tows because I've been a member so long. And I use those free tows. They've never made a cent off me. The last tow I had was like $700 it would have been. It was for a motorbike too. And all the guy did was show up with a ute and say we'll lie it down on the back of the ute. I was like, no way, it's not even a year old. Not lying it down on its side. It's 4-stroke too, not a 2-stroke or anything. So if it was going to cost me $700, I would have just hitchhiked back to the next town, hired a ute, chucked the bike on the back, and driven home, and it would have only been like maybe $200 or something. Should be a job I do. Pick up broken motorcycles. How easy, money for jam. I'd just get a low truck or something and roll them straight on. Something like this is going to be useful for us because my ute's still in bits, all rusted out. Mitsubishi, typical. I've got to do another sill. I've already done one sill in the floor cab mount like this time last year, but ran out of interest in it. Had a bunch of stuff, other things go go on, and then it gets left outside and sitting there in bits. So should get back into that once I make some space in the shed. This will just live outside, so that's not a problem. Alright, it's the next day. We got home alright. Didn't have any issues driving home. Just after I picked it up, I heard the power steering making a bit of a noise, and it was just empty, so I topped it up, and it looked like it was maybe leaking out of the return hose or something. I didn't really have too much of a look, but it lasted long enough to get home. So yeah, this was a 98 Wingroad JS, which I think is some sort of touring edition or something. I think they're supposed to have the bottom of the car painted a different colour, so don't know what's going on there, if it's supposed to or not. This was a Japanese import. It didn't come to New Zealand until 2008. So it was silver. You see the bonnet particularly is pretty well gone. I don't know if I might be able to polish some of that back, but so these bits looks like it's maybe too far gone, oxidised through the clear coat. The roof as well. Most of these panels have dents in them, like dents, doors, some there. Tailgate's probably getting to the point where it needs some work on it. There's no major rust, but just a few little bits coming through. I think it was probably parked with its back to the ocean. These doors are maybe the worst. That looks like an old respray there. But, there's a bit. Both these front doors have a little bit of rust coming through. The sills, I think, were looking alright. Another couple of little dents in the front. I think I can knock most of those out. Inside, let's have a look. It's pretty disgusting. I need to take all these carpets out, give them a proper clean. It's pretty gross. I don't know what that is. Oil maybe. Disgusting. See, everything is dirty. The seats are disgusting. Back is full of hair. Whoa. These are damn good clean. Yeah, it looks like, I don't even know. What is that? Oil? Maybe it's oil, engine oil or something spilt in there. It's gross. Yeah, I mean that's gross. There's hair, dog hair on everything. I think these seats come forward. So maybe it was used as a moving bark and grass, lawn mowing, I don't know. This net thing is still in here. I don't know how good that is. It's probably rotten. Headliner's surprisingly clean. So I think it's all reasonably good. Yeah, the struts are going. Looks like there was some rust coming through in there. It's only just surface rust at this point. This here might be the worst of it. I need to take out the boot and take out the carpet and see what it's like after I clean it. I think in there will be gross, and if anywhere's going to have rust, it'll be in there. But it's not too bad for me to fix. Just weld it up. Otherwise the rest of it's not too bad. I'm hoping I'll probably have to take this carpet out and, I don't know, water blast it or steam clean it or something. like that side, I don't know, is oily or something, so I'm not real looking forward to cleaning that part. There we go. So I guess that's a big dog, right? Dog here. I haven't really had a look through it yet, but I think there was a couple of dollars there. Might make a bit of money back. I saw another one of these at the local wreckers, so I might head there, see what the parts they've got. I think the interior and that one was stuffed, but there might be some covers for that door panel there. I think everything else was pretty good. Had a tow bar as well, so I might go grab a tow bar. So no fog lights on this one either. But I guess we'll start with a vacuum so I don't cough up a lung every time I try and drive it.